and gentlemen. There is nothing worse than failing upwards. There is nothing worse. Okay, maybe carpet bombing a city is worse, but there is nothing worse, to use a pop culture reference, than failing upwards. And now we've got a CONCORD artist. Working for Marvel's game hub in regards to the Wolverine project, which got almost completely leaked online. So what a way to doom your project with something like that. And now they're making all sorts of weird characters. Now, this, folks, is supposed to be promotional material. Promotional material. If they are releasing this as promotional material, we haven't got a hope in hell. Everyone's leaving because we got a donation. Thank you to Seabrew, who's not a Hebrew, for $2, saying, so Karma is a British person. They aren't Welsh. Well, Seabrew, I know you're an American because you can't spell properly. Furious Dan taught me that. You also have no idea how punctuation works. And I told you, I'm in Israel, right? I'm in a bunker, right? Protecting myself. Because none of it was our fault. Wink, wink. This land was promised to me 50 billion years ago. But in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing with Marvel's Wolverine just goes to show that the industry is rotten to the core. And why is it rotten to the core? Because of a political infestation, right? It's like the Flood. To use another Halo reference, because I've played that game recently. They infect something, they take it over, they take all the relevant information they need and kill everything else for the sole purpose of expanding their operation. That is how the Flood work. That is how the opposition work. And that is never going to change. And the only way you defeat the Flood is to blow up the Halo ring. Simple. So, Jose, what do you make of this?
You know, it's one of the worst things that we have to deal with in the games industry is that these absolute failures can just put a name on a game and automatic sales, because a lot of the normies aren't going to pay attention. They're not going to see how ugly Mystique is until it's too late, until they've already spent $70-$80 for the game, because they're just going to look at the Wolverine name. Oh, I want that. Or the kid. Oh, I want that. And they just buy it. And you look at this game, you look at everything with it, from the Deborah Wilson Callisto, to the Mystique, who looks very masculine, who they've already ruined in the comics, because instead of Nightcrawler's mother, she is now Nightcrawler's father, because she's able to grow male genitalia and impregnate another woman. That's an actual thing they did to this character. So, of course, they're like, oh, well, Mystique needs to be non-binary, so we need to avert the male gaze. Except if you looked at history, they've always put a pretty woman in the role playing Mystique in the movies. Rebecca Romijn is an excellent example. You've seen the character before. You know, she was always meant to be like alluring, even in her natural form, you know, this blue skin sort of mutant. And now you just have this woman with the first thing I noticed was the masculine shoulders. That was the first thing I noticed. That and the lack of an ass. And I'm like, oh, they cooked Mystique. And if she looks this bad, just think about all the preliminary photos we saw of Jean Grey while this game was in development. You think they made that any better? No, Jean Grey's going to look like Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy. She's going to look like a 45-year-old hag, and nobody's going to like it. But, oh, it's okay. We got Wolverine and we got violence. Yeah, you know what? We got Wolverine at home, because the X-Men Origins game really wasn't that bad. It was better than the movie was, for all it's worth. So, you know, I look at this and I just register this as another one to the do not buy bin. I didn't buy the Spider-Man games. I don't have a PS5. I don't want Ghost of Yotei. I don't want any of the slop Sony is putting out. And I don't give a damn how many ponies cry about it in the mentions on X. It's not going to translate into sales of anybody with a functioning brain.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks. This show is already a bona fide success because 8 people are watching a show on a channel whose creator isn't here. So I think that's a fantastic success. What's not going to be a fantastic success is Marvel's Wolverine, because it's just going to be another Western AAA game that treats beauty like a plague and treats the flood like beauty. Vote with your wallets, folks, especially if it's $70 or $80. That's insane.
Mhm.
It's crazy, man. It's even crazier than the fact that Slay can't get Shells pregnant. What do you make of this topic, Slay?
Well, I think one of the biggest copes surrounding the uglification of Mystique and Jean Grey and a majority of these female characters we see in modern games, even when they have like a starting model that's beautiful, is that they say that there's quote unquote issues with scanning people into the game, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so how is it that games like Stellar Blade and Wu Chang, or hell, even WWE 2K25 have no issues retaining the look of the female characters? Hell, how can I, not even a game dev, make people in the character creator on that game look almost just like they do in real life?
You're able to do that, Slay. You're able to do that, Slay, because you're a racist.
And your Furious Dan look very Mexican.
Yeah. We all know that the terms racist, sexist, homophobic, and xenophobic are just buzzwords for talented, skilled, full of ability, and fully capable. And it's like, this is why I want more of the Arab world in our entertainment, so we can get rid of this pestilence in our own civilization, right? Even if it means being woken up at 6 a.m. because of, the loud speakers for the prayers, right? I would rather that than have our entertainment be polluted by this nonsense, right? And the ideal world is the best bits of everyone's society, and there's no better way to wipe out wokeness from our civilization with just a nice little flavoring of the Arab world. It's not all bad, folks. I know the Arab world gets, a bad reputation because you Americans can't find it on a map. But if there's one group of people that can get rid of this disease, and it is a disease, it's them. They know how to do it. They got bigger problems, like finding water. You tried finding water in a desert? It's impossible.
The Arab world would not get rid of it because they want the Westerners to be weak. They'd continue pushing it.
See, look, we can't even win that way.
Well, I don't know about that. Like SNK didn't make the women ugly, and the Saudi prince bought that.
Yeah, I was about to mention the whole entire thing of when they did with SNK and King of Fighters and everything, where we've seen in fighting games in the last few years, all the female characters have gone through the uglification stick and whatnot, but at least the King of Fighters girls, they're all still really attractive, and they actually let them keep their titties and ass.
When they released that SVC Chaos port on Steam, people made a big deal that Athena was completely blocked out from the poster. It starts from her head rather than the rest of her body.
Mm-hmm.
This post, which I thought was brilliant, is on 4chan. And it says, "Why is she everywhere?" in regards to Deborah Wilson, who also happens to be in the Wolverine game. And the response is because she's black and ugly in a way that makes white people feel uncomfortable. Making you uncomfortable is their goal. It's not about profit anymore, not in this industry. The people who make these decisions have never been hungry or felt the need to improve their lot in life. They simply hate you and view making video games as art where they can express their ideological rage. And it physically discomforts them whenever they're reminded they're supposed to be catering to their customer base.
Yes. And, I think catering to people is the way to go. That's why you're seeing so many Arab references. Our special guest has a lineage that goes back to Iraq. Yes, that country, America. Yes,
most people can't tell. They see me and see an American guy.
Ah, good.
Hey, look, Mustafa, to answer to your people, once your people bought Evo, I bought King of Fighters and Fatal Fury immediately, all right? That's my answer to that.
Look,
Disco!